She doesn't give interviews. She's never seen in public, and officially she doesn't even exist. But behind layers of wealth, power, and secrecy, one woman may be living the most protected and dangerous life in the world. She's rumored to be the secret wife of Vladimir Putin. Her name can't be printed in Russia. Her face has vanished from screens. And her life? A dizzying blur of private jets, Gulfstream landings in Dubai, and gifts worth more than most nations' GDP. But the biggest mystery isn't what she owns, it's what she knows. The mystery woman. Who is Putin's wife? Vladimir Putin has ruled Russia like a czar for over 2 decades, but while the world knows his politics, almost no one knows who shares his bed. In 2013, Putin quietly announced that he and his wife, Lyudmila, had divorced. It was a brief, robotic statement, delivered on national TV and then never spoken of again. Since then, no woman has ever been officially acknowledged as his partner. Yet rumors persist. And one name rises above them all: Alina Kabayva. A former Olympic gymnast and decorated athlete, Kabayva has been romantically linked to Putin since at least 2008. That year, a Moscow newspaper reported they were secretly engaged and was abruptly shut down. The publisher cited financial reasons. No one believed it. Over the next decade, whispers turned into patterns. State media coverage of Kabayva grew scarce, her public appearances became rare, and her fortune skyrocketed. She reportedly took control of a media empire, received access to state assets, and vanished from public life around the same time that rumors surfaced about her giving birth to Putin's children. Another woman, Svetlana Krivonogic, has also drawn attention. Once a cleaner, she somehow ended up with luxury properties, millions in offshore wealth, and a daughter whose DNA is, according to investigative outlet Prukt, a 99.9% match with Putin's. Neither woman has confirmed the relationship. Putin himself has only said, "I have a private life, and I do not permit interference in it. It must be respected." But over time, a pattern has emerged. In 2010, Kabayva was spotted wearing a rare ring, nearly identical to the one Putin had worn for years on his right hand. Russian tabloids speculated it was a wedding band. Kremlin officials denied it, but refused to answer further questions. The photographer who took the image later deleted his entire archive. Putin's private life is shrouded in more than secrecy. It's protected by censorship, fear, and wealth on a scale most people can't even imagine. The billionaire lifestyle in Dubai. Where do you hide the woman who knows everything? According to European intelligence leaks and Russian dissidents, the answer is Dubai. Multiple reports suggest that Alina Kabayva, long rumored to be Putin's partner, has spent years living in extreme luxury in the United Arab Emirates. She allegedly resides in a private compound so elite, even Saudi royalty would be jealous. Bulletproof vehicles, armed security, spa staff, private chefs, she has it all. Dubai makes sense. It's the fortress of the world's elite. The city offers wealth, privacy, and most importantly, no extradition. It's become a favorite escape zone for Russian oligarchs fleeing sanctions, and a perfect place to disappear. Insiders claim Kabayva is based in Emirates Hills or the Palm, where villas routinely go for $20 million, and privacy is guaranteed. One source said her household includes over a dozen full-time staff, and that she only shops in boutiques that are emptied in advance, so she's never seen. She reportedly travels in a private Gulfstream G650 with no visible passenger manifest. The plane often flies direct from Moscow to Dubai, tracked by aviation bloggers and banned in Russia for reporting it. And it's not just her. Several of Putin's close allies and former mistresses are also believed to be living under state-sponsored protection abroad. Some in Switzerland, some in Dubai. All of them live in opulence, but completely off the record. That's the luxury of being close to Putin: unimaginable wealth, perfect safety, and total invisibility. Officially, she owns nothing. Unofficially, she may be worth over $1 billion. The Pandora Papers and other global leaks have exposed how Putin's inner circle moves and hides wealth, especially when it comes to the women closest to him. Shell companies, trusts, and offshore entities in Cyprus, Panama, and the British Virgin Islands have been traced back to properties, yachts, and assets connected to Alina Kabayva and others. One aircraft, a $65 million Gulfstream G650, has been tracked repeatedly flying between Moscow and Dubai. Aviation sleuths noted that it operates without standard passenger data, uses obscure routing patterns, and often lands at private terminals. Then there's the yacht, a 140-meter floating palace, allegedly gifted to Kabayva through a complex chain of oligarch-owned intermediaries. The yacht reportedly includes a cinema, multiple pools, and a personal beauty salon. Her wardrobe? It includes Cartier, Dior, Bulgari, and watches that retail above $200,000 apiece. Jewelry experts have estimated that just her accessories, seen in a handful of leaked photos, could be worth more than $3 million. But here's the trick. None of it is in her name. Every asset is buried under layers of companies and proxies. She has all the benefits of extreme wealth, but none of the visibility. That's not an accident. It's design. Alina Kabayva may live like a billionaire, but the money isn't hers. It belongs to an empire, and it exists to keep her loyal. In Putin's Russia, wealth isn't just personal, it's political. Oligarchs don't just stay rich because they're talented businessmen. They stay rich because they serve the state. And part of that service? Taking care of the people Putin wants protected. Multiple investigations, including the Pandora Papers, have uncovered shell companies and secret trusts with indirect ties to women rumored to be close to Putin. Some of these entities appear to be controlled by longtime oligarch allies, figures like Yuri Kovalchuk or Gennady Timchenko, who act as financial middlemen. They help launder not just money, but loyalty. This is how gifts happen without names. This is how apartments worth $30 million end up in the hands of former gymnasts. This is how billion-dollar yachts are borrowed, not bought. The system runs on silence. In exchange for wealth and safety, the women connected to Putin don't speak. They don't make public claims. And in many cases, they disappear from public life entirely. One insider even described it as a modern royal court. The women are treated like queens, but only within the palace walls. Outside, they are nobodies. Unacknowledged, untraceable. This isn't love. This is structure. An authoritarian system that rewards emotional proximity with unimaginable luxury, while making sure that every diamond bracelet comes with a leash. Once upon a time, Alina Kabayva was everywhere. She lit up magazine covers, hosted glitzy TV shows, sat front row at Fashion Week events in Moscow. She wasn't just famous, she was admired. But then, around 2014, she vanished. No appearances, no social media, no statements, no trace. For years, the silence was deafening. Journalists who asked too many questions were warned off. State media removed old photos. Even loyalist news channels stopped mentioning her by name. It was like watching someone be erased in real time. The rumors? She'd given birth to Vladimir Putin's children, that she was now living under full state protection, that she'd been removed from public life for security reasons. All unconfirmed, but none denied. She returned briefly in 2022 for a gymnastics event, her first public sighting in nearly a decade. Observers noted her designer outfit, a Cartier Ballon Bleu watch worth over $100,000, and a subtle security presence that screamed state protection. A few months later, she was reportedly seen at a private luxury hotel in Dubai, wearing head-to-toe Dior and escorted by multiple bodyguards. The sighting went unconfirmed. The media who reported it? Blocked in Russia within days. And the media didn't just stop covering her. They erased her. Archives of her TV appearances were quietly pulled offline. Magazines replaced her covers with newer celebrities. Even Wikipedia entries about her were altered or flagged for removal. One former editor at a Russian gossip tabloid reportedly said, "We were told to treat her like a ghost, right around her, never through her." To the outside world, she's a ghost. To insiders, she's royalty. But the message is clear. The more you know, the less you're allowed to be seen. The children nobody talks about. The most dangerous secret in Russia might not be money, it might be blood. Multiple Western intelligence sources believe Vladimir Putin has children with Alina Kabayva. Possibly 3. None have been publicly acknowledged. All are allegedly hidden, protected, and raised under false identities. In 2015, Swiss tabloid reports claimed Kabayva gave birth at a private clinic in Lugano, Switzerland. The entire floor was reportedly cleared. Staff were allegedly required to sign NDAs. The birth was never confirmed, but soon after, she vanished from public life. In 2019, a similar story broke. Another child, this time in Moscow, delivered under heavy security and sealed medical records. In 2022, rumors of a third child surfaced, along with reports that Kabayva had relocated to Dubai, potentially to raise the children in greater privacy. Even their ages are unclear. Some speculate there's an older daughter born in the late 2000s, possibly a fourth child kept entirely off the radar. These children are reportedly educated under fake names and travel with elite security. Some insiders say even their teachers don't know their real identities, and no photos have ever been confirmed. This isn't just about secrecy, it's about narrative. Putin's image is one of detachment, no family, no weaknesses, no distractions. Publicly acknowledging children, especially with a former gymnast half his age, would unravel that illusion. So instead, they vanish. Not into danger, but into silence. Raised in gold-plated bunkers, held in invisible arms. And no matter how lavish their lives may be, they carry a burden that money can't erase. They were born to the most powerful man in the world, and they can never say it out loud. Media blackouts and the Kremlin's fear. In Russia, there are two things you don't report on: Putin's money and Putin's women. Both get people killed. Independent media outlets like Projekt, Medusa, and Novaya Gazeta have all tried to uncover details about Alina Kabayva, Putin's secret family, and the hidden offshore empire that surrounds them. The result? Censorship, arrests, and exile. In 2021, Projekt published an exposé on Kabayva's mysterious rise to power and her financial ties to oligarch-run shell companies. Weeks later, the Russian government labeled Projekt an undesirable organization, effectively banning it. Its editor, Roman Badanin, fled the country. Another journalist, Dmitry Muratov, Nobel Peace Prize winner and editor of Novaya Gazeta, has repeatedly said that Putin's personal life is a red line. Cross it, and the consequences are fatal. Many of his colleagues have already paid the price. In 2022, Russia passed sweeping new laws criminalizing false information about public officials. Under these rules, even mentioning Kabayva or the rumored children can be prosecuted as a national security offense. One Russian reporter told The Guardian anonymously, "We were told not to say her name. That was the only instruction, no explanation, just silence." International media aren't immune either. Outlets that publish investigations often find their websites blocked inside Russia within hours. Some receive threats, others mysteriously lose access to visas or Russian contacts. This isn't just about privacy, it's about power. Putin understands something most leaders don't. The illusion of invincibility matters more than the truth. And the existence of a woman, living in luxury, protected by the state, possibly raising his children, destroys that illusion. So the Kremlin doesn't just hide her, it erases her. And every time someone tries to bring her back into view, another light goes dark. Alina Kabayva isn't the first, and she's not the only one. Vladimir Putin has reportedly maintained a long-standing pattern. Women enter his life quietly, receive incredible wealth, and then vanish from public view. No interviews, no statements, no acknowledgement. But behind them, a trail of assets that defies explanation. The most notable case is Svetlana Krivonogik, a former cleaner who, after a brief and private association with Putin in the early 2000s, ended up with multi-million-dollar apartments, a stake in Russia Bank, and millions in offshore accounts. Investigators from the OCCRP and Projekt traced this wealth to shadow companies tied to Kremlin insiders. Another woman, reportedly a former flight attendant on Putin's private jet, received ownership of a sprawling Black Sea villa valued at over $15 million. She disappeared from public life shortly after. There's also speculation around a young woman who once worked at a ski resort Putin frequented. She's now listed as a silent partner in a holding group that owns the resort, despite no business background. This pattern, romantic involvement, sudden fortune, complete erasure, suggests more than coincidence. It suggests design. Insiders call it the Tsar's Circle, a web of loyalty, luxury, and silence. The women involved don't talk because they don't need to. The money speaks for them, and the threat of losing it keeps them quiet. It's not a scandal, it's a system. And if Kabayva is the crown jewel, these other women are proof that the crown wasn't made for just one. The cost of loving a dictator. She lives in unimaginable luxury. But what does she own? Every woman who's gotten close to Putin seems to live a life of extreme contrast: power and disappearance, wealth and silence, safety and surveillance. Alina Kabayva may reside in one of the most luxurious homes in the world, but insiders say even there, she has no control over her finances. Every expense is routed through Kremlin intermediaries. Her guards answer not to her, but to the FSB. Her travel is monitored. Her phone is likely tapped. This isn't freedom. It's gilded confinement. Her identity has been slowly erased. Once a public figure, now a phantom. The few times she's appeared in recent years have been tightly controlled. Her words carefully vetted, her movements choreographed like a ballet. Even her children, if they exist, can never call her mom in public. Even her name is a national security risk. And yet, she endures it. Maybe out of fear, maybe out of loyalty, or maybe because she knows what happens to those who leave. One former mistress reportedly tried to speak out after their relationship ended. She lost everything: her business, her property, her family's safety. She now lives under an assumed identity in exile, completely cut off from her past. In this world, love doesn't mean flowers. It means obedience, a soft voice, a silenced phone, a life measured in favors and security details. This isn't a relationship, it's a regime. And behind every watch, every yacht, every designer dress, there's a price tag. Not in rubles, in identity, in autonomy, in self. Because loving a dictator doesn't just cost your freedom, it costs who you are. So what do you get when you love the most dangerous man in the world? You get protection, you get palaces, you get private jets and bottomless bank accounts. But you also get watched, controlled, erased. Because in Putin's world, women don't rise beside him. They vanish behind him. And those who know the truth, they wear it like a diamond collar. Beautiful, expensive, and impossible to remove. Alina Kabayva may be one of the richest women alive, but she may also be the loneliest. Because in a kingdom built on silence, love is never safe. It's just another weapon, and that's a wrap. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because the deeper we dig, the darker it gets. And the ones who disappear often knew too much.